question is ready.
Sedrick, I'll just ask you about road environments. Obviously, first true road game. I mean, how difficult can it be to hear when you're in a loud road environment? How much does that affect you and the quarterback as far as the cadence and stuff?
I definitely think it could be a factor, especially on the road in the SEC. I think there's a lot of great stadiums. You talk about, USC, Auburn, whoever it may be. Those environments get really crazy and loud. So, I mean, it can cause some problems in those environments. But honestly, that's something that we work on and we practice throughout the week. So, we try to minimize those things.
Sedrick, what stood out to you about this South Carolina defensive front, the challenges they're going to put forth on Saturday?
I think the thing that stuck out most to me has to be their athletic ability, just the pure God-given ability that those guys possess. I think they are extremely talented. They fit the archetype, for the type of guys you look for in the SEC. So I think those guys are really talented.
Yes, Sedrick, I just wonder if you could evaluate, or what was the evaluation after reviewing tape of the offense's ability to run the football against Samford, and what you guys need to do to improve if that's what you look for against South Carolina this week?
I think it's a bit of everything. I think we left some things out there for sure. But I think in general, we left some things out there: pass protection, run protection. Just in general, we can be better. We will be better. That's something that we look forward to, and something I'm excited about going into this week of practice.
Yes, Sedrick, Kirby said after the game that offensive line rotations don't matter that much. Basically, it's you doing your job, guy next to you doing his job. Is it that simple, or do the guys playing next to you up front, does it matter in terms of chemistry?
That's what he said. That's what we're going with. Everybody do their job.
So you guys go back to number one, and Kirby's talked about all offseason how you guys won't be hunted. You feel like you have a target on your back. What does that mean when he says that?
I think his biggest thing is that he just wants us to be hungry, go every day and, work hard. I think a staple of this program is definitely working hard throughout the week to try and minimize the mistakes in the game. So I think that's what he's just focusing on, making sure everybody makes sure that we don't take anything for granted throughout the week, work hard, trust your brother, extra sprints, whatever it may be, extra film, whatever it may be, just making sure that we are able to play to the standard that we need to on Saturday.
Having had a chance to review the game tape from Saturday, what do you make of sort of the red zone issues and you guys having to settle for so many field goals in there on Saturday?
It's a good question. I think it was just small things, whether it may be missing a cue, missing a read, missing an ID point. Somebody may take their eye off somebody for a second. It was very small, minute things that honestly can be fixed up really easily. I think it just goes to a level of attention of detail. So not too worried. Definitely want to go and watch it and get those things cleaned up and fixed, and I think we'll be fine.
Yes, so they're kind of following up on red zone issues. How critical is running the ball down there inside the 20s when spaces are more condensed and everything like that?
Well, it's a big problem because I think passing and running goes hand in hand, especially in the red zone. If you can't run the ball, then everybody will basically just sit on the goal line, and you can't throw it. And if you can't, throw it, nobody's in the box. So I think it goes hand in hand, and we definitely have to be physical and go out there and, dominate in the red zone because, when all things fail, if, everybody's in drop eight coverage and things like that, we got to be able to run it down the throat.
So about the topic of just noon kickoffs, I mean, how hard are those to get ready for? How much does it change the routine?
I think that's more of a problem based on maturity. I know last year that was something that we definitely embraced a lot. Those noon kickoff games, wanted to make a statement. So that's something that we want to, try to continue this year is just embracing it. Noon, early game, get up, eat breakfast and go play. I think this is something that we're going to focus on this week and make sure we're ready for.
Sedrick, 2 games in, where do you feel like this offensive line has grown the most through 2 games, and what are some of your focus for the ways you guys can get even better?
Well, that's a good question. I think somewhere where we've grown the most has to be the physicality. I think just seeing, guys flash on film, I think it happens a lot in the Oregon game, the Stanford game. I think there were a lot of individual plays for each person where you see a guy, take a guy to the sideline, to the bus, whatever it may be. And I think that's where we've grown the most. I think where we can be better is everybody having extreme detail every play. I think there was a lot of times where, really in the offense in general, where people just, one person, may have an off play, And I think that once we get to the point where all 11, is on and nobody's having small mistakes, I think we'll be even better.
Sedrick, what have you seen out of Kendall Milton these past 2 games? He's taken on more of a bigger role in the running game. Just assess his performance over the last 2 weeks.
I think Kendall has done a tremendous job in his running style. I think when Kendall first came in, I think he was very downhill, just hit the whole dude he's coached to do. And I think Kendall's becoming more comfortable. I think he's starting to see things better and, genuinely starting to feel into his own. And, I'm proud of him for it.
Getting back to that #1 ranking, is that just a thing that it feels like that's where the program should be and stay at all times, type of deal?
Personally, I don't want to get into that. I want to stress that to the guys not to get into that as well, because that's something that changes every week. 1 week we may be #1 and it may change the next week. So I think for us it's just making sure that we uphold the Georgia standard and making sure that we play to the way that we need to and win games. I think that's the bottom line. Really don't want to get caught up in the whole #1 ranking, because at the end of the day it doesn't matter.
So last year Tate had that devastating injury and he was cheering you guys on throughout the whole season. What is it like just having him right next to you once again and just being able to be a part of that game plan and have him right next to you on that line?
It's great to have Chuck back. That's what we call him, Chuck. But it's great to have Tate back. Definitely super excited for him to have the opportunity to play, because when we came in, honestly, I thought Tate was like one of the more gifted and talented offensive linemen I've been around in my career. So definitely excited to see that guy finally be back on the field. I'm super excited for him, and I tell him before every game that I'm proud of him and I believe in him. So just going out there and seeing the work that he's put in, and it finally come to fruition for him, I'm super happy.
Sorry to say that. I know you're not a scoreboard watcher for sure, and you're hyper focused. But you go home, you see teams like Texas A&M losing to Appalachian State. You see Notre Dame losing to Marshall. Is it kind of an eye opener, kind of a reminder to what you were just talking about as far as the standard?
I mean, definitely for sure. I think those type of things, it can happen in any given week to anybody. Just to be honest with you, I think that's the beauty of college football, though. Any given week, anybody can be beaten. So I think, not taking things for granted, it definitely opens up your eye to, hey man, there's a lot of competitors out there, so it doesn't matter who you're playing, no matter who it is. Take those guys seriously, prepare like it's the championship, the natty, whatever it may be, and, make sure that you do what you need to do.
One, where's the chuck come from when you talk about Tate? And 2, what have you seen out of Stetson and the way he's grown even within the season now, fully entrenched as a starter?
Okay, so to answer your question about the whole Chuck thing with Tate, so there's kind of this thing on the offensive line, we kind of make fun of each other. And I think somebody randomly said the other day, like he had a mustache like Chuck Liddell, so we started calling him Chuck after that. So that's where that comes from. And as far as Stetson, I think he's grown a lot in his maturity, really trusting Coach Monk and Coach Smart, taking that coaching and, really applying it to the offense. I think this is the most Stetson has been control of the offense, honestly, since I've been here. And it's exciting because, we have one voice, one leader, one guy. And it feels great to see that guy in the huddle, call the shots, and everybody has confidence through him.
Yeah, you're down in the trenches with your defensive mates every day. You lead the nation again in scoring defense. This is the first foray in the SEC. How confident are you that your defensive teammates can handle the challenge of moving back into SEC play?
Well, I'll say this. There's a lot of days where we win practice. There's a lot of days where they win practice, and I feel like we both are really talented. So I think that's where that confidence comes from, the fact that, we feel like we're one of the best in the country, and, if they do, a good job of shutting us down, I think they can, hang with anybody. So I think that's where that confidence comes from, just competing with your brothers. Because at the end of the day, we always want to make sure that we're competing at practice and make sure we're going out every day. So I have extreme confidence in those guys, and I look forward to seeing them play.
So I feel like there's so many phrases that fly around this program that are like very George, like attack the day, keep chopping, and elite or not. Is there one of those that sticks out to you that motivates you more than maybe another? Or I mean, there are plenty of those those phrases, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to really share this, but just our biggest thing lately has been nobody cares about your feelings. At the end of the day, whether you're hurt, you are tired from class, nobody really cares. At the end of the day, you're expected to do your job, and that's just what it is.
If Chuck is Tate's nickname, what's yours? Other than Sed is too easy. What's your name?
Oh, they always talk about my beard. They say I have a patchy beard, so that's what they always call me, Lil Beard.
Any more questions for Sedrick? Okay, Sedrick, thank you.
Good. Thank you all. Y'all have a blessed day.
Yes, Sedrick.